Good day guys, and welcome back to a bit of a odd vlog, to say the least. We're only just starting it, yet the trip has come to an absolute end. We are on the way to unload. We hopefully have a couple of ton on. We've been at sea for 10 days, fished for 9, and I just haven't filmed it because it's been there's been a lot going on, and we've just been trying to focus on fishing, get the fish up as quick as we can, and it's taken a lot, you know, often your 16-hour days and things like that. So haven't filmed anything, but we'll film the unload and then we'll go over some things that happened in the off season. So it's currently November and we haven't fished the last couple of months. Season's been closed, so we've been getting work done to the boat, fixing gear, doing odds and ends like that, and now it's time to get the first trip over and done with, sit around for another week or two, got things to do on the barge, and then we'll get the Christmas lobsters caught, and we're going to sell some off the wharf publicly, so that's the plan. Anyway, we'll get into Margate. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the Flinders Island trip and the tuna trip that Lockie and I went out on, and whatever else happened in between that I might have posted. But yes, we're looking forward to getting in and unloading.
You guys see us catch all the big dogs, especially my big dogs. My big dogs. Now we've only got little dogs.
We've only got this trip, unlike Flinders, the average weight of these lobsters are going to be around 730 to 750 grams compared to the trip we did at Flinders, which was like, I think we went 1.4 kilo or something like that. Yeah, so yeah, it's 1.4 kilo average, so big difference in weight as well. So we've got around about 2,700 lobsters on the boat at the moment. There's about, I think, 600 of them are red lobsters, and the rest are brindles, the deeper water ones. But anyway, we'll get into the unload and we'll show you how we do it. All right, here's the wharf. Looks like we've got a couple of abalone boats unloading. So because we've got a couple of ton of fish on, the trucks that we're selling to can't carry that total amount, so they're having to use 2 vehicles, and then we're unloading some to Muir's as well, Muir's Hobart. So we'll get into her and tie her up. unload's done. It's now like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We unloaded at 6 this morning. What have we been doing all day? Well, Lockie's been flat out cleaning the boat, doing things. I've run around to the barge, done some things there, gone to do other business things, paperwork. We're now doing cleaning up. So at the end of a trip, we do a lot of cleaning just so the boat's ready to go for the next trip. So to give you an idea, all the floors have been scrubbed and cleaned. All vacuuming's been done. Downstairs in the galley, I've just started cleaning. We wipe all the walls down. In the toilet, everything gets wiped down. Toilet gets cleaned. Everything gets a good cleaning. All the calipers and the cray measures get a clean as well. And then we, clean all the screens up, give everything a good wiping down, pack our bags, make sure everything's ready to go. Down the front, Lockie gets his stuff ready. Out here, we clean all the windows, freshwater wash the whole boat. All the bait savers get cleaned. He goes through them to make sure there's no damaged ones. There's a pot here that needs fixing. This one, and then we do a little bit of work to other pots if we see anything that we need to fix. All the bins get cleaned and scrubbed so you can eat out of them basically. So when you have a nice clean bin, you can put it anywhere in the boat and you don't have to worry about it smelling. Lockie's currently in the cray tank giving it a clean. I'll pass the camera to him to show you what happens in a cray tank.
We hose it and then we vacuum it and pick up stuff. Just heaps of stuff, like all this stuff. It's stuck in behind those pipes. I don't know if you can see it. We're trying to get it all out. That's pretty good there. Yeah, maybe you can see it. Feelers and stuff get stuck in there. And then all along these, everything gets covered in stuff. So we've gone around and hosed everything off, tried to wash everything down into the bottom here. There's usually grates that sit here, and we pulled them out. We've got some of the smaller ones sitting up back there. But yeah, every beam and grate gets washed. And then that little pump back there sucks all the water out. And I'm just trying to get as much stuff up so that when we pump the water out again after I hose it again, that things don't block up. So a lot of this little stuff will end up going through the pump, but all the big stuff like legs and feelers and everything that's in the vacuum will get tipped over the side and go back into the ocean where it belongs.
So this time last year we actually did a bit of work in this cray tank. So if you go back maybe 15-20 videos ago, we needle gunned all the tank and everything. So we'll show you how it held up. So far it's pretty good. It's all the paint, all this hasn't been washed yet, but all this we painted all around all the rails where the grates sit. Lockie will show you. I'll pass it back to Lockie. So everything was needle gun, painted, and a lot of work. A month of work. A big month of work was put into the tank, and it's holding up quite nice.
Yeah, so everything that has grates sitting on it, anything that gets a lot of wear and tear on it over time, as you can see, a little bit of wear and tear here, but this is what we did. We needle gunned it all, primed it all, we put thick paint on it. Yeah, you can. Basically, there was lots of spots like this, like we didn't paint the ladder, it was all like this, lifting up, rusty.
GoPro keeps cutting out on Lockie, I don't know why. As you were saying, yeah, basically needle gun everything, just give it a really good clean, use the tool called the Master Blaster, and we just clean all the steel up, get it painted, get it sorted, and it took a long time, to be honest. It was, normally you'd sandblast all down in the cray tank, but I wanted to save some money for Dad, and we physically did it. Now, when it comes to the off season, which has been the last couple of months, we've been pretty busy with what we've been doing. We've had a bit of work done. If you remember the Flinders Island trip a few videos ago, we were having issues with the anchor winch. It's one of the main titles in the video, broken anchor winch or something like that. Now, we ended up lifting off the entire anchor winch. We ended up getting a brand new hose pipe put on, and the peeler, which peels the chain as it rolls as the chain gets pulled through by the gypsy, it hits the peeler and goes down the horse pipe. Now, the chain was bunching up inside the horse pipe on the peeler. You can't see what I'm talking about anymore because it's been built incredibly heavy duty now, and it works a bloody treat. Now, whilst the anchor winch was off, we ended up hanging this upside down and master blasted again all the steel feet and the hole underneath of it and painted it, because obviously you can see this rust. It's just surface sort of rust like all this. I reckon next year we'll probably take this off. It's only been rebuilt last year, but I wouldn't mind taking this off and just repainting the whole thing properly with the real proper stuff. So yeah, we've had this fixed. There was a bit of effort to get this right. We ended up getting this put on, tested it, it worked, and then when we dropped the anchor in deeper water, it didn't work under tension. So it was still grabbing inside where the peeler is, causing us a problem. So we've now had the peeler extended. It's bloody phenomenal now. So that's all very good. The next thing we've done, I'll jump up on the roof. All right, up on the roof now. So up here we have 2 brand new sat compasses. So these sat compasses are used for the electronics in the wheelhouse, which I'll show you in a minute. But we have 2 new sat compasses with a brand new stainless pole. So there used to be just a single pole with a single sat compass. So now we have 2 smaller sat compasses. So each sat compass has maybe 4 ports. We need about 7 ports to run everything. And financially it was better off buying 2 with less ports than it was 1 with a big, like the right amount of ports. So if that makes sense. So up here we've got 2 sat compasses, a couple of backlights looking to the stern. This is our TV sat dome, Ocean TV. Funnily enough, when Dad got that put on, they're not cheap. He finally, after many years of hesitating, was like, oh, I don't know, don't want to spend the money. He went, no, you know what, I'm going to get it. He put it on, and now we have Starlink, and we don't watch TV anymore. So bit of a bummer, but anyway. The next thing we've had done, you'll see this is green. We've had to paint this whole targa bar, we call it the targa bar, is aluminium. Now, this boat was painted only a couple of years ago, so all of this was beautiful. However, we've had to have a lot of work done. Only about 1.5 years after the whole boat was painted, the wheelhouse and the windows were done and the bulwarks and inside the deck, we had a problem and the exhaust had to be pulled out. Now, the old exhaust mount was very different. You used to have to cut the exhaust off to pull the exhaust out, and then you could open up the fire flaps here to take all this off and get inside of there. Now, when we got in there to replace the main, because it had sheared itself off, we realized the genset was going to soon do it as well, but we could only replace one thing at a time. So we replaced the main exhaust, and then finally 1 year and a bit later we've got around to getting the genset done. So the Jenny is all new down to about here somewhere. There's a flange, and then there's another flange from there down to the seat under where I am now, and that's yeah, that's good. Ended up being a bit of a different job, because the original fitting, like I said, you used to have to cut it off to get the exhaust off, but now you can just undo the bolts and you can take the cap off the exhaust to stop water getting in. So you can take the caps off and inspect down in there if you want. And then we've just, with anything on this boat, we use what we call Teflon neoprene between any 2 metals. So any 2 dissimilar metals, we put neoprene or nylon to stop any corrosion between the metal. You'll see with the lights, so this is probably a steel bracket by the looks of it, and there's neoprene in between that, and then every screw is covered in Tef gel to stop any corrosion. That's just how we do everything on the boat. You don't have to do it, but that's just, Dad's very pedantic and I don't blame him. Preventative maintenance that ends up saving you money in the long run. It might take you longer to do, but it's just worth paying attention to little details like that. A few other things about the boat while I'm on the roof. Every vessel has to have what we call a distinguishing mark. So we have letters and numbers. Ours is N571. Up here we have life rafts, EPIRBs, float-free EPIRBs. So when the boat sinks, this is has a pressure lock on it. So basically, when it hits a certain pressure, it will release, and then that'll set off saying the boat's sunk. This has the same sort of situation. hydrostatic release. This has to be serviced in January. We did it recently in the off season. We did a full-blown list, revamped our what we call our SMS, our safety management system. I revamped it, reorganized a lot of it, and updated all the paperwork to correspond with all our things that expire: flares, fire extinguishers, first aid kits. Upgraded the first aid kit to the next level. Just did a whole bunch of things just in case in future, you know, things change and all of a sudden you need the next first aid kit. We've already got it, and it's just a better safety precaution to have. When it comes to our side lights, I have not rotated them yet. I'm going to get a custom bracket made up because the distance from here to here is different from here to here. So there is mounting capabilities top and bottom, but this bracket isn't sufficient enough for that. So I need to get another stainless bracket made up to fit. And we'll test run one light before we get the second bracket made up to make sure. What else up here? You have the antennas for your radios, GPSs. This is the CLS Trident tracking VMS. So this is what the government track us with, the police, fisheries officers, so they track our boat at all times. So whenever we leave port or anything like that, or when we're fishing, they know exactly where we are and what we're doing and all that sort of stuff. We have the radar here, the old JRC, Dad's beautiful radar. I don't think he wants to get rid of it or spend the money, but I'd like a newer one down the track, so when we earn some money we will look into getting one of those. Oh, here's some more what I was talking about, neoprene. So between the stainless and the aluminium, we've put some neoprene to make sure that, you know, no contact between dissimilar metals. Beautiful, beautiful stainless work with this. Beautiful. Back in the wheelhouse, what else have we done? So with the sat compasses, going back to how that all works, we have what we call a GP39, which is a GPS. We have a GP32, which is an older model of the GP39. Now we have updated Furuno, which is the brand, sat compasses. We can now hook them up properly into this. So this will now give us displays that show the boat's movement, shows the pitch, the roll, or the heave and whatnot, which is pretty cool. And it now hooks up to my systems better than before, which has made a difference. I was actually able to nearly every night turn off my screens because I sleep in here. So as you can imagine, it's quite bright. There's no curtains. I can't shut the light out. And you know, if the moon's out, the star's out, it's bright in here. Sometimes I sleep with a screen on, so if I wake up and hear a noise, I know we haven't dragged anchor or something bad hasn't happened, right? Now with the GP39, I was able to have a really dim light, and I could see exactly where the boat was and the track line. And because it's such a small screen, I probably slept a lot better than having a big screen in my eyes. So everything that uses the sat compass is, we have two computers, the three screens. One sat compass goes into here, it goes into the sounder. Now what it does in the sounder,
you're driving flat, the ocean's flat, you're getting a nice picture. You start rolling around without a sat compass, instead of it being a little bit like this, rocky bottom, it'll start going like this because you're going up and down more. The sat compass takes it back to... In here we'll get a lot of questions about stuff. So computers, you've got your HF radio, long range radio, then you've got your VHF, UHF, and your autopilot. The autopilot's on its way out. We plan on getting a new Furuno one, so it may mount here or it may mount elsewhere, somewhere a bit more discreet. Yeah, then you've got your basic dash. So this controls one computer. This is for my computer. You have your two mice, one's for Dad's, one's for mine. Yeah, hopefully that fills you in a bit more in the wheelhouse and things that we've done in the off season. We did, so in here we had to get all new stainless pipe put in here. It was, funnily enough, the out pipe here was stainless, but then they welded steel on top of it. So it being a shower, it corroded and made a big mess. Now we've just continued the stainless the whole way up. I redid all the plumbing, so I've put all new other than the whatever you call that. But yeah, now we've had the toilet fixed, that's good. We've only got a bit more, as you can probably see in the corner there's a bit of corrosion between two dissimilar metals in a wet environment. You have, our wheelhouse is made of aluminium, but the bottom half of it is steel. So there is a meeting point that's about, you know, yay high, and you can see, yeah, you can see where it meets, and it's just corroded. And we will be getting that plated and fixed, cut out, plated, fixed. It was meant to get done a few years back, but it didn't. Now, what else? I'm sure you all want to know, what did we end up with? What was our grand total of fish? It was 2,050 kilos. So 2 ton and 50 kilos. I want to give you guys an idea of
the true financials of a trip like this. We did 9 days fishing for 2,050 kilos. We will average $50 a kilo for this trip. You can probably do the quick math on that. 2 ton by $50, nice, $100,000 payday for 9 days. Now the truth of that is, the boat's not earning that. That's not how this works. We leased Quota, and I think we paid $27, $28 a kilo. Now we caught 2 ton, so you can do the math on that. That's straight away gone. We don't get to see it, it's gone, paid off to someone else, right? When it comes to the running expenses of this boat, they are quite high. It is a larger boat, it uses fuel, we have a genset, runs 24/7. We have crew wages, you've got your quota, you've got these big expenses, and it all sounds really grand, you know, 100 grand for 9 days work, but it's really not. There's no profit in it. We honestly, other than myself and Lockie, who get paid wages out of this, we get a percentage of catch. Now, we're both walking away with money. There's no doubt about it. We get to walk away with money. It's great. That's our job. Dad, who owns the business, owns the boat, has all the expenditure. He's walking away with nothing after 9 days. So that's the state of the industry at the moment, is that we can catch fish. We caught fish fast, just as quick as anyone else. We were one of the first boats to unload a large amount, and it doesn't make a difference. It did not make a difference. You'd think $50 a kilo, 2 ton, 9 days, well done, you know, that's good. It's not. He didn't make a dollar. We used, you know, we were using, what, 40 kilos of bait a shot. We're having 2 shots a day. The fish were running really heavy. There was rats, like small undersized lobsters in the pots like you wouldn't believe, eating the bait, tearing the bait up. We were pulling the pots after only 4 hours instead of 5 or 6. We're doing things to try and optimize saving costs like the bait.
Yeah, we put 1.8 ton of bait on. I think we ended up, some of our old bait that we had already was about over 2 ton of bait, and we'd probably have maybe like 400 kilo left.
So we used a lot of bait, and there's no choice. We reused bait till it's left the bones. You know, we tip bones back over, sort of thing. So there's a lot of cost with running a boat, and a lot of people they see the fishermen. You might go to Melbourne or Sydney tomorrow, right? You might live in Melbourne, Sydney, anywhere around Australia, internationally, whatever. You'll see Tasmanian lobster at the Sydney market, Brisbane market, Melbourne market, whatever, seafood markets, and you'll see them for $180 a kilo, $200 a kilo, $250 a kilo, whatever, right? The truth is, if you say to them, why does that cost so much? And I know this because I've actually physically called them and talked to them. They say, oh, it's because the fishermen get so much money. That's not honestly the case. They probably only buy it for $100 a kilo. I say only, but $100 odd a kilo, $70 a kilo. Then they mark it up 2-fold, 3-fold, and they just sell a lower quantity for a higher profit margin. This is, again, my views, my opinions, and what I have personally seen. So if you do have something to say back, write it in the comments. I will comment, you know, back. If you have questions about how this all works, please do feel free to ask. But this is why we sell lobster off the wharf, because it's something we can charge what we need to cover the cost of the boat for that trip. And at the moment, it's $70 a kilo. We need $70 a kilo to break even. You know, not break, to make money. We need, if the boat's not making money, then we don't have a job, because the company's going to go broke. So $70 a kilo is basically what we're at for us to make money. If we start leasing Quota in at the current going rate, which is $32 to $34 a kilo, we need $35 at least, minimum, absolute, I'm talking minimum, for us to even make a dollar. That's saying that we have barely any big expenditures. So $40 a kilo is more what this boat needs to run, and we're not seeing it. So the only way we can do that is sell off the wharf to the public. But our problem is, at the moment, it takes it out of here. We just did, you know, 9-10 days at sea, long days. You come in, you unload off the wharf to the processor, boom, done. We can clean the boat all day, we go home to our families. When you sell off the wharf, you've got to stay on the boat. You're not allowed to get off the boat with your crays in the tank. You've got to look after them. You put in long hours, you put in 8 to 10 hours a day looking after your crays, selling your crays, you're doing paperwork, books and books of paperwork, and all this stuff. And yeah, okay, you get the reward, but Lockie and I have to work an extra week, 2 weeks to sell the fish that we've just caught. So then all of a sudden you're working a month for a return that you should be earning in a much shorter period of time. Plus you've got to do maintenance on the boat, the vessel. It ends up financially unbeneficial for myself and Lockie, but slightly more beneficial for the company. It is honestly such a fine line in our industry, and there's probably fishermen who are going to be watching this, reckon I don't know what I'm talking about. Again, this is my views, my opinions, and how we as the business run. And you know, this is important for me to share because I do get a lot of messages about, you must have so much money and oh my god, this and that. It's not the case. It is not the case. Just because his boat's pretty, Dad spends every last cent he has to make sure the boat's well maintained. That's what he's always done. Anyone that knows him knows that's how he works. You know, look after your boat, it will look after you. And that's just what we're doing, and it's been like that for 4 or 5 years straight of just looking after the boat and not having any turnover sort of thing. And it's been hard. Now we're getting a lot of questions about China's back, this and that. I will say this, we have not sent a shipment as of this current date. It is the 25th of November currently. All the newspaper, the news, everyone's been saying, oh, China will be back by Christmas. As far as we know right now, we're not seeing any of that. It hasn't happened, and it may not happen until January, February next year for Lunar New Year, you know. But either way, we're excited for them to come back as a buyer, because it means our market price that we receive should come up. Now, will that change the domestic market, the local market? No, I don't see it changing the local market, because that market's already been heightened by the people that sell to the locals. If you're already seeing lobsters for 150, 180, 200, I've seen them for $250 a kilo in Brisbane. You're already seeing those prices, but that's been like that for 3 years straight. So that's the same as it was 6, 7, 8, 9 years ago. Those prices just go like this. Those people that sell to the public, they dictate and choose those prices. We don't. We just receive the set price from the processor, and that's it. So anyway, I'll stop talking shit because it's a bit of a rant, but at the same time, I get asked so many questions all the time. I get hundreds of messages a month, hundreds, let alone phone calls and all this stuff. Long story short, it's not as pretty as it may seem, and I hope that sharing this with you gives you a proper insight, because it's the truth of the industry. It's a struggling industry financially for a lot of people, but you know, the lobster quantities out there, the stock levels are doing really well. Our zones are doing well, and it's just one of those things where if the stocks are struggling, then the fishermen are struggling. If the stocks are doing well, we're still struggling. It's one of those things, we're at the bottom of the food chain. It is what it is. At the moment, there's nothing we can do about it. There's about 80, 90 active boats in the industry. Only a couple of years ago, there was 120, 130, something along those lines. You know, our fleet's been dwindled. Things are tight, and that's just the industry. And you know, I am in a fortunate position where my father owns the boat. He owns Quota in the industry, which is what is keeping us financially afloat. You know, but every time we have to lease Quota, it sends us backwards. So those fishermen who don't own or have the ability to lease cheap Quota, basically are at the very bottom, just get trod on by everyone above them. And if those fishermen were to put their hand up, say, hey, excuse me, sir, it's like that, what's that movie where the boy walks up and wants more porridge?
Please, sir, I want some more. What? Please, sir, I want some more.
It's just like that. The fisherman walks up, can I have some more? And there's repercussions for you even opening your mouth, put it that way.
It's spanked.
You get spanked.
It's spanked,
you know,
by the quota holder.
Yeah, it's just crazy that we're at a level where people are making money from the fishermen, but the fishermen don't get to make their money. You know, if I call a processor up and say, oh, I actually need $53 a kilo, I can't accept 50, I'm not going to get $3 more. But, you know, it is what it is. It's, you know.
If there's no fishermen.
If there's no fishermen, yep.
There's no fish.
So, if there's no fish, then there's a lot of people without business. We finally have t-shirts. The t-shirts are coming out. I don't have one of the actual new ones. This is one of the old style ones that I wasn't too happy with. So I'm not going to buy t-shirts and not wear them, but we have new t-shirts. There's 4 colours.
There's white, like white is white. There's a bone, which is like an off-white sort of colour. There's black, and then there was like a brown.
Yeah, oversized tees with a nice drop shoulder, nice size fitting, and yeah, they're fantastic. So, but anyway, yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed a bit of an insight into the other end of the industry you don't get to see. You've had a bit of a tour. Yeah, I'll do an engine room tour. All right, the engine room. I'll turn off the freezer. So we have our electrical panel here, and over there for the gen set. I have done a few little things in here. I do apologise about the light. This is what these lights do. I don't know if I can turn a different direction. Nah, it's just the shitty light. We'll keep it simple then. This is the induction. It inducts air, puts air in, doesn't suck air out, and then the air goes out up past the exhausts. Like I said, electrical panel. We have the tank pump here. So this is the pump that fills the tank up. We have the deck pump, which is our deck hose valve chest through here. We did recently just, I sanded and painted all of these. I rebuilt this pump and repainted all of that, put that back together. We have to pull apart some of these probably in the next couple of months or something like that, and just this one needs a new valve, and there's a few just small tiny water leaks that you know, salt drips over time. That's what that is there, it's just salt. And then we've got the freezer unit here, your condensator and all your freezer related objects are there. We store a little vacuum up the back. Then we've got spare nuts, bolts, things like that, you know, your fire extinguisher, hot water cylinder there. And then we have below me in a second, we have all our oils, gearbox, engine, and a spare battery. So that's there, plus a little garbage bin. It's all strapped down, and that is because, as you can imagine, when you're punching in the bad weather or you're rocking and rolling, whatever, shit goes flying, and the last thing you want is something to fly into the front of your motor and choke it out. We have all our batteries for different things, 12-volt batteries, 24 batteries, bank 2, bank 1. These are on charge now. When we come in, we put these in charge and take the lid off. Battery charger, we have the hydraulic motor, the inverter for our computers and stuff. We have the hydraulic tank for steering, and we have the hydraulic tank over here for the hydraulics, your anchor winch and all that sort of stuff. We have a water pump here that runs off it's belt driven, and it runs off the motor, and we use this water pump which runs through these here to use our new day tank, which I haven't actually shown you. I'll show you that in a second. And then we have our fuel valve chest here, and then up the wing we have even more spare objects up there. Wood, you never know, you know, you might get a hole in your boat and you need to chock it, so we have big bits of wood. Saws, this is our toolbox that's got all the stuff we need in it. You know, a lot of people don't know there's a lot of stuff that goes into, you know, running a boat, and this is some of it. We've got anodes, what you call anodes, in here, up here, and everywhere. So I'm going to replace these anodes shortly. They're nearly due, and those anodes are sacrificial material. Instead of us having the metal in the pipes corroding away, the anode is corroded first. Turn the freezer back on, and we'll go up here and have a look at the live tank. Also we have fridge, freezer, the galley's the kitchen, induction cooktop. Yeah, we try and keep it neat and tidy. We recently put all new floor in. I haven't finished the little corner bit. I have the piece for that to glue on, just haven't done it yet. Stairs, we took the stairs out, repainted the whole stairs, put new sticky stuff on there to stop Lockie from falling down after a hard day's work.
I've never fallen down these ones, only Kenton.
Yeah, I have.
You've fallen down.
It's not really falling, it's as you're walking like Lockie is right now. Sometimes my heel gets a bit excited and comes over here, and then my body gets excited and misses all the rest of the steps.
When I walk down here though, I don't even mean to do it, I'm always led against this, and my arm's always here, because when you're rolling around at sea, you don't want to be walking downstairs like this.
Yeah, you can't walk straight, you have to actually lean on things. So that is something to take note. When you are on a boat, hitting your body against objects is normal. Like often when you're cooking in this area here, this becomes a forehead. You have to stand like that because you're trying to chop something with a knife, or you're doing something.
Or you're like this.
Or yeah, you're doing the dishes like with your legs split. It's just a bit of a funny thing you have to do on a boat. Like, you know, this is actually the deck. So the deck there is here. So it has to be there. That's just how it is. We're very fortunate with the design of this boat from 24 years ago. Very well thought out. It's really nice, you know, you've got low head here, but this is your shower and toilet, so it's you know, thought out space. There's enough room here for 4 blokes, you know, and it's roomy enough. There's all sorts of different designs you could do, but for us, honestly, this works well. Convection microwave oven, and yeah, we use air fryer all the time. Slow cooker, pots, pans. Used to have a deep fryer. The air fryer is fantastic, especially having the 2 doors on it. We probably don't use them enough for vegetables, just chips. We both love chips and gravy. Chips and gravy go a long way. So yeah, day tank. I'll quickly show you the day tank. Real Game Boats and Trailers on Facebook. Check out the boats they make, because they are freaking phenomenal offshore fishing weapons. So from now on, we will put fish into this. This mat's not normally on here, but it's just a big tank that circulates from the deck hose over here So the decos runs across here into there, it fills up with water, the overflow is the top one, and we put the lid on the bottom one, and we can put 230 lobsters in here, which saves us time and effort, because beforehand when we're sorting pots, you'd sort the pot, then you'd fill the bins up, and then you'd have too many bins, so then you have to put the bins into the tank, and it takes the shop a lot longer. So now we're just extra careful with the size fish we put in to make sure there's no unders in the tank, and once we pull the gear, we sort through the tank, stay on top of the cray bottom, so any crays we throw back go back onto cray bottom, not out onto sand and things like that. And yeah, so anyway, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video, this second outro, and hopefully, yeah, gave you a good insight, a bit of information about what we're doing, what we're up to. And yeah, if you've enjoyed it and you want more content, like, subscribe, yeah, and get yourself a t-shirt. Hopefully I'll have some for Christmas. If not, there will be some for January. It's just a matter of if they're available. But thank you for watching, and we'll see you all soon.